Hey Juice Boxers, this is Father Tim. I'm so excited to answer more of your questions. So let's go.
Juice Box. Hey Father Tim, why did Jesus have to die?
That is such an amazing question. And the reality is, Jesus actually didn't have to die. He wasn't forced to die. Jesus Christ freely chose to die for you. It wouldn't mean as much if Jesus is like, I have to do this thing. I have to die for you. No. I choose to suffer. I choose to hurt. I choose to die because that's how much I love you. That's the most amazing thing in the world.
What is the most important feast day?
This is a great question, and there are so many amazing and special feast days throughout the year that we celebrate. But the most important is Easter. Easter is when we celebrate Jesus becoming the champion. That is what we celebrate. Jesus rising from the dead, defeating death. This is the best feast day of the year.
Why do we genuflect in church?
This is an amazing question, and every time I genuflect, I think about this. Back in the Middle Ages, knights would go before the king, saying to him, I give you my life, you are the king, I am not, I give you everything. And the knight would genuflect because there would be a sword on his side. And as he genuflected, he couldn't pull out his sword, otherwise he would hurt himself. He could only pull out his sword when he was standing. And so the knight, he would be kneeling in front of the king saying, I can't harm you, you are the king and I am not. And so we do that because who do we genuflect to? We genuflect to the king. And so we say to Jesus, Jesus, you are the king, I am not, you are the Lord and I am not, and I give you my life. It's pretty cool. So all of you who are listening to this, when you genuflect, you're a knight of Jesus, which is so cool.
Why do we have a special candle for Easter?
The special Easter candle is this amazing, beautifully decorated candle that we light on Easter. If you were to light a candle in a dark room, does the darkness cover the candle? No. The light radiates out into the darkness, and the Easter candle symbolizes Jesus' love. His light takes away any evil, any sin, any darkness, any fear. So every time you look at the Easter candle, you know the light of Christ is the most powerful thing in the world.
What do you do if you're scared to take communion?
It's a really great question, and it's okay if you're scared to receive Holy Communion, but you don't have to be, because communion is the Eucharist, and the Eucharist is Jesus. Jesus is always super happy and super excited for you to receive him. And so it's okay if you're a little scared, but you don't have to be, because Jesus isn't, and he is super awesomely excited that you get to receive Holy Communion. So don't be afraid.
How did you know you wanted to be a priest?
I love this question because all of us are called to a vocation. Whether you're called to be married, you're called to be a priest, you're called to be a religious, whatever it is, we all have a call. And it's Jesus asking us to follow him in that way. Hello? Hello, Jesus? That's a big question. Can I call you back? And so Jesus asked me in my life, especially when I was in college. It wasn't crazy, like, you're gonna be a priest, Tim. It was very gradual and very gentle. And that's how the Lord works. Jesus is gradual and gentle with us and calls us to our vocation and calls us to be a saint.
A priest go hard?
Priest school, also known as seminary, was one of the most amazing times of my life. But yeah, it was hard, especially the studies. I'm not the best at school, and so sometimes studying was really hard. But everything else, from the prayer, from hanging out with my brothers, to all the fun things, it was great. It was fun.
Do you know the whole Bible?
I don't have the best memory. What's my name again? But I know all the books of the Bible, and I know the story of the Bible, but I don't think I know the whole Bible. But the more and more I read scripture, the more and more I can remember scripture passages. And that's why it's so important to read the Bible, to understand scripture, and we can always discover new things when it comes to scripture.
How do we know the truth if other religions say they have the truth?
First of all, whoever wrote this question, that is an amazing question. Maybe you're supposed to be a theologian one day. But to answer your question, Jesus Christ, he said, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. So Jesus said, I am the truth. And so we can trust Jesus that he is the truth. And so the more and more we trust Jesus that he is the truth, the more and more we will discover the truth.
Is writing a homily like homework?
Writing a homily is actually not like homework at all, because homework is the worst. But I love writing homilies because it's kind of like writing about your best friend. Have you ever talked to your family or to your parents about your best friend and just how awesome they are? That's what I do with a homily. I get to write about my best friend and tell people how awesome Jesus is. It's a lot of fun. Everyone had so many good questions. Thank you so much for sending them. I had so much fun answering them. If any of you have any questions that you're dying to ask a priest, send them in at juicebox@spiritjuice.com. See you next time.
Juicebox.